All right, everybody. This is my welcome week, first week of school Google Slides that I made. I made it pretty much for my actual classroom, so you can see the West Side emblem. I'm on Teams 8C, so welcome to English 8. Hello, I'm Miss Swan again. As it says, I really do love English, and I am actually very pumped to have all my students in my class, to meet all of them, to get to know them, and to watch them grow over the year that I get to be with them. So I put in some facts about me, as well as a picture of my plants, a picture of me in nature, a picture with myself and some of my family members, and then a picture of me with the Kansas City Chiefs flag, because I need them all to know that I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Excuse me. I put into my facts where I'm born and raised, my degrees, where they're from. I love to cook and bake, so yes, we'll have some food days every once in a while. I put in there what I watched this summer on Netflix, what I like to do for fun, and that I will always be drinking a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee on Friday mornings. And then I put in a slide with my quote-unquote family. I say quote-unquote because the middle picture is myself and my boyfriend, who at this point I do consider kind of to be family. And we also have our family dog, Wilbur, and then the most recent and probably last picture of my family, my nuclear family all together. So then, it's time to get to know everybody else. So we're going to play beach ball questions, which is one of my favorite icebreakers, and it's so much fun, and it gets people moving around, and you get to see how well people can follow directions, because the first thing, they have to toss the beach ball underhand. So that's a very simple direction that people never seem to be able to follow. They have to toss the beach ball at someone not directly to their left or their right, to somebody who's not already had a turn. When you catch the beach ball, look at your left thumb. The nearest question/prompt will be the one you answer. All this good stuff. And then I made sure, when told to do so, silently stand up, move to the edge of the room and form a circle. This is going to be a competition between the classes, and the winner will get a prize the next day to see who can do it the quickest and quietest. So I will take into account, I'll try to count up how many people are talking, and then I will put how many seconds are on the board. So that should be fun. I haven't decided the prize yet. So then they go. And then once we're done, we settle back in. It's time to talk about some expectations, and the first thing we're going to talk about is bell work. The most important thing I put on here is that bell work is going to be counted as a weekly grade, just like as a weekly formative, something to pad their grade. I'm all about padding students' grades because I know some people just do not test well, and I don't think that they should be, discounted for that. And then classroom expectations. I have 2 slides of these, and I'm not going to go over all of them because you can read them. But the cell phone policy, that's just a West Side Middle School policy. If I see it, I take it. And they don't get a warning. They know the expectation. If it's out, it's taken. End of story. And I am also applying the same rule to AirPods because I don't want to deal with it. So if I see an AirPod in, it's mine. And you can get it at the end of the class period. And if a hood's up and that's what's blocking me from seeing an AirPod, hoods aren't allowed to be up anyway, so it's a double whammy there. I will allow snacks during my class, but only during bell work time. Otherwise, it just becomes too much of a big thing. I have a big cheating and plagiarism rule. I'm going to call home either way for if they cheat on a test or plagiarize a paper. And you have to retake the test if you cheat on it, but you can only get a 70%. That would be like your 100% paper. You have to rewrite it. So instead of just docking points, you got to do it all over again and go through the whole process. So that's more work for me, but it's also more work for them, and I think it's more constructive in the long run. Use appropriate language at all times. They're like 13 years old. I want them to use appropriate language. Laptops. I struggle with technology. So I only want laptops out when I say they're allowed to be out. Otherwise, I've, as a substitute teacher, had too many problems with students having their laptops out when they're not supposed to, and having unclear expectations on that. Late work, there's a late work folder. 1 point's taken off for every day the assignment is late. If you forget something, I've got it, and I will put grades in on Thursdays each week. So those last two are kind of expectations I'm holding myself to and making sure they know about. And then each period we're going to make our own classroom expectations. And we're going to write them out, and then we're all going to sign them. And they will go up on the wall all around the room, and they will be enforced per class period in addition to the expectations I've already set for them. So then I have a student interest survey. They're going to get their Google Classroom code, and then they're going to go to that classroom and take the student interest survey, and when they're finished, the expectation, close your laptops, put them away. So then take that, and then we're going to review the classroom expectations by reading them up on the wall where I will have my expectations posted, and we're just going to review them that way for now. And then we're going to do a quick tour of my classroom, in which I will need 4 volunteers to stand at various points in the room and kind of Vanna White and show it off. And the first of those times are my free time centers. I hope to have it, at the very least I want 1. I would love to have 2 so that kids aren't crowded all around one all the time. But it's for after they finish their homework test or quiz, and they have to ask my permission before going to a free time center or getting something from the free time center. But like you can see, Wonder Word, Sudoku, crossword puzzles, adult coloring books, and any books from the class bookcase. No more than 3 people are allowed in that free time center simultaneously, because I just don't want it to get crowded and crazy and become a distraction to others who are still testing. I don't want anybody taking anything out of my book. I don't want anybody taking any of the free time center activities out of the classroom at any point in time. Non-negotiable. Turning in work, that's another station that we need a student to highlight. I will have a turn-in tower located next to the door, and this is where students will turn in all of their assignments. However, they need to note that bell work will be turned into the bell work tray at the front of the classroom. And that there is a late work folder also located next to the door that they need to specifically turn their late work into. The next thing that I will be having my students show off is the Who's Reading What, and this is something that I constructed for one of my other classes that I'm in right now, and decided upon getting feedback from my professor that I want to implement it into my classroom. So there is going to be a spot in the classroom, it'll be probably pretty big, where students, it'll say like who's reading what, and it'll be all decorated and cute, but 3 students from each class period will be featured each month, and they pick 1 book to read, and upon completion of the book, or at the end of the month's time, they give a 1 to 3 minute presentation outlining the title, the author, the main character, the major events, and their personal rating out of 5 stars. And at the start of next month, the previous 3 readers will each get to pick 1 new name, and that's how we're going to get our 3 new readers for the upcoming month. So this is just going to be like a thing that we do. And then there's an extra credit opportunity tied to it. So I won't be taking a grade for who's reading what, but there is an extra credit opportunity tied to it for the students, where they can write a 1 to 2 page paper about what they liked about the book and why, what they disliked and why, would they recommend the book, why or why not. They can write about characters they loved, characters they hated, things that make them say, whoa, anything else they want to share about the book or their experience reading it. And the reason I want to do this is because I'm already having them talk about the main characters and like all this stuff you always talk about with books, but I want my students to like books or like reading, so that's why the extra credit opportunity is all opinion based. I just want to hear like a book club discussion about what happened. Like, I can't believe that Ponyboy went in to go save those kids from the burning building, or I can't believe that Katniss can't figure out that Peeta's actually in love with her. Why is she such an idiot? All those good things. And that's it. They get 5 extra credit points added to their lowest score at the end of the semester. So obviously only half of the students will get the opportunity per semester, which is something I might have to finagle a little bit to figure that out. But yeah. So then we're going to pick our first 3 readers. I will draw 3 names, and that's how we'll kick it all off. And now they're going to get out their computers, and we're going to review the expectations again with a Kahoot, because I love Kahoots. And there will be a prize for the first, second, and third place winners. And that is everything.